Hey vinyl community, today I am going to be ranking the studio albums of The Cure. The Cure were one of the biggest names in post-punk, new wave, alternative music in the 80s and arguably the early 90s. And definitely they made their imprint on music, their goth look, kind of their depressive, mopey kind of lyrics. Robert Smith is definitely one of the most charismatic frontmen of the whole new wave era. So I'm going to be going through their discography. They have 13 studio albums. I'm going to be ranking every single one of them. I'm not including mixed up. I'm not including as much as I would like to. They've got some singles compilations, but I didn't. Just know I really love those albums a lot. The Cure had some amazing singles, but I'm just going to be covering the studio albums here. So let me start with number 13, 2004, their self-titled album, The Cure. So this is my problem with late period Cure, and I'm talking about The Cure in the 2000s. The Cure in the 2000s really is just trying to recycle the stuff that people liked about The Cure in the past. It's really not any fun. You've got Robert Smith. I'm singing about something and it's not even interesting, and I'm making up the melody as I go along. It's like, what the... And I know that's the worst Robert Smith impression ever, but that's all it is. It's him doing Robert Smith, and the drum beats are all either Manchester beats, think EMF, Jesus Jones, Soup Dragons from the early 90s, of boom, bop, boom, ba-da-bop, boom, bop, boom, ba-da-bop. I mean, just the whole, it's so Cure by numbers. It's boring, it's bland. Occasionally there is a great moment here or there, but for the most part, you got Robert Smith doing the, and you can always tell, like, Robert Smith announces when it's going to be an up-tempo track by doing something like, oh, or something like at the beginning of the track. It's like, stop it, okay? And I'm glad that their final studio album was 2008, because they were one of those bands that, look, if you're not going to do any better than this, if this is all you can do, just pack it in. I'm happy to replay the old 80s, early 90s albums, but I don't need The Cure going on, trying to sound like themselves. It's really... So I guess what I want to say, bottom line about The Cure self-titled album, Labyrinth is fine, The End of the World is okay, but the rest of it, it's like, I don't need it. Stop. Go away. I'm going to say the same thing about my number 12 pick, 413 Dream from 2008. 413 Dream, no idea what it means. The album, it's got a cool moment here or there, but by and large, it's like, seriously, I don't need it. It's like, blah, it's like, okay, now we're going to do a song that sounds like Disintegration. Now we're going to do a song that sounds like it was off Wish. Now we're going to do a song that sounds like it was off Faith. Or no, it's not good. The art, and can I say this too? The Cure has some of the most atrocious artwork in all of alternative music, if not rock and roll music in general. It really is awful. You'd think after 10, 11, 12 albums, you would have one decent cover. They're not. The only ones I think Kiss Me, Kiss Me, Kiss Me is okay. I think the artwork for Disintegration is fine. Head on the Door is cool, but just some of the stuff, the artwork from, let's say, Disintegration onward is just awful. And this album especially, I don't know why I had to bring that up, but boring. 413 Dream makes me want to go to sleep and have a dream rather than listen to this album. Just not a fan. 2000 Blood Flowers, kind of the same thing. It's like, okay, let's recreate Disintegration and parts of Wish. Just, no, I don't care for it. They're not terrible. They're not awful. They don't make my ears bleed. They don't make me want to go, jump off a bridge or anything like that. But it's just, after a while, it's like Robert Smith has nothing interesting to say anymore. It's all about, oh, me and my imperfect life, and I wish I could be this, and like you said. And I love The Cure. You're gonna think to this point in the video, God, this guy hates The Cure. I don't. I hate the 2000s Cure. I hate The Cure past their prime, where they're just recycling old Cure ideas and themes. No, Blood Flowers, go away. All right, so the first album that I don't think totally blows is number 10, Wild Mood Swings from 1996. This has some really great Cure moments on it. It's got Want, which I think is a cool album opener. And this is the difference. If the guitars have something interesting to say, if there's an interesting groove going on, if there's an interesting melody, Robert Smith can sing about all the depressive shit that he wants. Just make the music interesting and memorable. And there's enough of that on Wild Mood Swings that, yes, I'm down with that album. Strange Attractions, very cool. Mint Cars, a lot of fun. I like the cutesy kind of piano keyboard at the beginning. Jupiter Crash is great. So some very cool moments. Like, this is The Cure. If The Cure's going forward, just give me something fun, something interesting. That's all I ask, please. And with Wild Mood Swings, they deliver. Number 9, Three Imaginary Boys from 1979, or if you were in North America, Boys Don't Cry. Boys Don't Cry is the better album of the two. Now, Three Imaginary Boys was the original UK release. It was in 1979 that it burst onto the scene. And in the US, we didn't get a version of that until 1980, which was Boys Don't Cry. There's a lot of overlap between the two albums. Boys Don't Cry has Killing an Arab on it, which is reason enough to own it. It's a very cool song. But the tracks that I really like off here are Fire in Cairo, F-I-R-E-I-N-C-A-I-R-O, F-I-R-E-I-N. Very catchy, cool. I like that. It's got that punk attitude to it. That's, at this point, The Cure were just kind of these snot-nosed teens, just kicking out these killer punk riffs, never, at this stage, not knowing, is it all going to fall apart after this album? Are we going to have another record contract? Are we going to make another album after this? That's what's great about it. It's raw, it's cool, accuracy. There's enough differences in the songs. Everything's coming to a grinding halt. Nothing more like punk than that. Love that. Subway song is so creepy. It's got a killer bass riff. Just a killer bass riff. You got Robert's creepy vocals. And then at the end, you think it's faded out. It's about a killer. And at the end of the song, you think the song's faded out and it's over. And then there's a scream that totally makes you crap your pants. I mean, if you aren't expecting it, and even then, when I know it's coming, I'm just kind of like bracing for it. Like kind of when you wind the Jack in the Box, you're like, oh, it's going to jump out and scare the crap out of me at any minute. That's how this song is. It's totally like, rah, but it's great. Love it. I really like Boys Don't Cry. That album rocks, and it's awesome. Number 8, the follow-up album from 1980, 17 Seconds. Another cool collection of songs, but they're moving in a little more of a gothic direction. There's more melody, more thoughtful kinds of tunes here. A Forest, great single off of here. It's been covered by so many different bands. Play for Today is another great. There's less punk here. There's less an emphasis on punk and more about post-punk, more melody, crafting great songs. Very cool. I love this album a lot. I know it's ranked really low, but everything from here on out are excellent, superb Cure albums, to my way of thinking anyway. And 17 Seconds is great, and Your House is great. And it's not complicated. They just go with one riff, but it's a catchy riff. It's a melodic riff, and it carries a song. And Robert Smith isn't over emoting. He's just singing, and he's got a cool voice, and it's a great collection of pop on this album. Number 7, Wish from 1992. Definitely a little lighter subject matter than their previous album, Disintegration, but it's fun 90s pop. You know, they're in the beginning of the grunge era, and they're still doing what The Cure does. You've got High on here, which is the first single. It's great. Friday I'm in Love is one of the catchiest tunes that Robert Smith, straightforward love songs that Robert Smith ever wrote. A Letter to Elise is very cool. From the Edge of the Deep Green Sea would have fit perfectly on Disintegration, but it is a great track, kind of one of those droning, reminiscent of Disintegration, where it's just a mood piece. Wendy Time is a fun song. Doing the Unstuck, again, you got that playful Cure. You know, it started to seem like after this album, The Cure started to forget what it was like to be playful and just craft a memorable melody, something interesting. And Wish has that in spades. It's a great album. Number 6, I'm going to go with The Top from 1984. The Caterpillar was the single off here, which is a very cool track, very unusual sounding track. It's The Cure, but definitely a different rhythm, a different melody than what they'd had before. Shake Dog Shake starts off the album, and that is almost a return to the sound of Pornography, kind of the more goth oriented Cure. Bird Mad Girl is a great little pop track with Eastern type theme or instrumentation there, but very cool. Dressing Up is cool. Piggy in the Mirror is a great, straightforward rock pop track. And the last song, The Top, I think is very cool. You just got a kind of the very minimalist guitar lick there and the thudding drum, boom, 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 boom. I love the drumming on that. It complements the guitar riff so well. Robert Smith's desperate vocals. It's very cool. Love that album. It's quirky. It's kind of quirky in their discography. Not many people, I think, are much aware of it because of the album that came afterwards and the singles collection that came before and during that whole period. But it's definitely one worth checking out. Number 5, I'm going to go with 1981, Faith. They were in the middle of transitioning from kind of just the straightforward pop, post-punk of 17 Seconds. Now they're moving into a darker, more goth-type music, darker themes in their songs. The Holy Hour is a great opening track, but again, it's very minimalist. It's very different from Disintegration and Kiss Me, Kiss Me, Kiss Me, where it's just, those are kind of very dense. A lot of music filling up the spaces on those albums. But here, there's really just very minimalist instrumentation, but it's so effective and it conveys the darkness of the lyrical themes in these tracks. It's very cool. Primary was a great single off here. I love All Cats Are Great. It's such a moody track. It's just synthesizers and drums, but the synthesizer has such a cool, perfect melody to it. It's just a great moody track. And what else? The Funeral Party is another great kind of gothic track. But all right, number 4. This was kind of their first true pop album breakthrough, where they really were starting to hit the airwaves. You see a lot of their singles in the shops. I'm talking about 1985, The Head on the Door, great album, one of the most perfect Cure albums out there. So different. You've got elements of goth, but it is just a lot of fun to listen to. You've got In Between Days. I love the acoustic guitar on there, how it carries the rhythm. You've got also the Baby Screams, which is a very cool vocal. Robert Smith having a lot of fun with that vocal. I knew I was going to say Robert Plant at least once during this review here, but anyway, I can't help it. Robert Smith, Robert Plant, two great vocalists. So Robert Smith, Baby Screams, really fun track there. A Night Like This, one of those iconic Cure songs. Such a great ballad might be the first Cure ballad, I'm not sure. But anyway, it's a great, great track. Love that. Close to Me was the dance track off here. Just love the rhythm. The single's got the horns. I prefer the song without the horns, truth be told. But just great album. Screw is a great track. I love Kyoto Song. So many great tracks. There's like the Spanish guitar on here that they use to great effect for the blood. I mean, that is what was so freaking fantastic about The Cure. Such pop, but it was so alternative, new wave, unmistakable. There was nobody that sounded like Robert Smith on the radio. Just nobody that looked like Robert Smith. I mean, he looked like he was out of a total freak show, but definitely love The Cure. Number 3, I'm going to go with Pornography from 1982. They're on full-on goth mode here. Depressing, dark lyrics. You know, unfortunately, Robert Smith was going through depression at the time, but it made for fantastic music. 100 Years is such a great opening track. I love the drums on that, the rhythm. It's a heavy, heavy track. This is one of the Cure's heaviest albums. The Hanging Garden was a single off here. It's great. The Figurehead, Cold, all of side 2 is just so heavy and dark, but it is great. And it was so dark and so like heavy that they felt they had to lighten it up and kind of go in a brighter, more poppy kind of direction afterwards, because really they'd taken that about as far as they could go to this point. Number 2, and this may surprise you because I actually ranked this very high on my list of my favorite new wave alternative albums of the 1980s, but I'm going to go with Disintegration. After careful thought, after careful listening, love Disintegration. Again, it's another dark, depressing album. Robert Smith was going through some stuff, but he makes it all interesting, and you've got so many diverse styles on here. It opens with Plain Song, which is just a gorgeous swell of music, and Robert Smith trying to fight above the cacophony of it all, but it all works. It's all gorgeous. It's all interesting. It's all beautiful. Pictures of You was a single off here. Love Song was the radio-friendly track. Another straightforward love song from Robert Smith. Just perfect. Lullaby is a great kind of creepy track, but it's got elements of The Cure. Very interesting guitar work. Fascination Street, I think, was the first single off here, but it's so heavy, it's so melodic, and it's almost like the world coming to an end. Fascination Street, that's the sound of the world ending. Prayers for Rain is cool. Homesick, I love how the album ends on, on just sort of a theme of hope, kind of. I don't know. It sounds a little bit optimistic at the end there, but love the whole album. It is The Cure at their best, except my number 1 album, got to go with the sprawling double album, Kiss Me, Kiss Me, Kiss Me from 1987. You've got Catch, such a cool love song there of lost love. I sometimes used to try and catch her, but never even caught her name. Beautiful. I'm no singer, but just great. Love that line. Torture is an awesome, heavy track. Just so great, so ominous. Love that. If Only Tonight We Could Sleep. It's like a sitar. Love that part of it. Why Can't I Be You was a cool danceable single. So was Just Like Heaven. You got great singles on here. Hot, hot, hot is great. Like Cockatoos is another. Just they get into this groove, and the riff is fantastic. The melodies. There's so much diversity on this album. The Cure is just kind of like, yeah, we're at the top of our game. You can't beat us. We're the best in the new wave business at this time. I remember I got it on cassette when it came out, just being blown away. It was like every song, they just kept getting better. And Robert Smith is just full of ideas, and the band sounds great. It's everything great about The Cure. If there's only one Cure album you're going to get, definitely get Kiss Me, Kiss Me, Kiss Me. Then get Standing on a Beach, because that's a very cool collection of singles. But That is my rankings of the Cure albums. Love the Cure. Not a fan of the 2000 Cure, like I say, but overall, they've got a great body of work and they are fantastic. Everybody, thanks for watching and let me know what you think. What are your rankings? And see you around.